We're going to be working on the flooring of the boat today. We're going to do the foam insulation, add foam to the bottom, and I'm hoping I'll have time in this video to do the floor and the deck. Definitely be able to do the floor because that's just one square piece, pretty easy. And the deck shouldn't take up too much time. My only hang up is I kind of need a trolling motor to really mock it up the way I need to. But first step is adding foam. I know I say this in every video, but I feel like it's necessary. Adding foam to a boat is basically making sure that after we add all this weight to it, trolling motor, decking, all this crap, that something happens to the boat, it's not going to sink to the bottom of a lake. You can't add too much foam. I say that. Usually all I do is do it to the floors of these boats, and really I should be trying to cram that crap wherever I can, but I'm not really just adding tons and tons of weight to these boats. If y'all have seen, I've kind of been, you know, I don't want to say doing the bare minimum, but sometimes I feel like less is more. That's been a motto of mine for a long time. There's no sense of adding a whole bunch of crap, but that's just me and my style. Anyways, so what we're going to be doing is adding foam to the bottom of this boat, and you get it from your local hardware store. Just do a search around. What you need to do is measure how tall your braces are in the bottom of your boat. These are 1.5 inches, which is kind of freaking tall, and I was hoping I'd get by. I've got a bunch of leftover scrap foam from other builds, but I don't have anything that stacks up to 1.5 inches, so I'm going to have to go to Lowe's and get some 3/4 inch foam board. They actually have it. I haven't used this stuff before. It actually looks like white styrofoam. I think it has like a full backing to it. For whatever reason, it's a lot cheaper than the foam board you get, like the blue or the Pink Panther stuff. But you know, it's styrofoam. It's the same thing they put in these daggum seats, so it should be fine. I want to say it was like 14 bucks for a sheet. I need to do some measurements, and hopefully, since this is just a 10-foot boat, I can get away with just one sheet. Because I ordered the motor for this boat and the hydro turf already, and I think I have kind of blown my $1,500 budget out of the water. But you don't have to do all this stuff. Like, I think what I'm going to do, and when I get to the hydro turf, is, you know, figure out how much carpet would cost too. Keep in mind, I'm building this boat to sell, so there's some corners that I probably could cut, but I don't want to because I don't want it to bite me in the butt, because I do want to eventually sell this boat. So what we're going to do today is put the foam in. Super easy to do. All you need is like a 4-foot level. We really need a level. You can just a straight edge. I use a box knife, box cutter, and like a Sharpie or something to mark it out with. So that's all the tools we need. But now we gotta make a freaking trip to Lowe's and get this stuff. All right, I went to Lowe's and they didn't have what I needed, believe it or not. But I found these, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pack of 3/4 inch foam. It's basically what I said, you know, it's just styrofoam. The sheet I was wanting had like the foil on top, but I mean, really not necessary. I mean, if you wasn't going to floor it, I could see where this stuff could end up scratching and flaking off, getting little dingleberries all over your boat. But since we're going to cover this, we're going to try and make it work. And I think under the seats, I've got that 1/2 inch. The seats are actually a little bit lower. They're about 1 inch off the floor, where them braces are 1.5 inches. So I'll be able to use that blue stuff in other spots to where it won't look so bad. But anyhow, hopefully this is going to work. I don't see why it's not. And it was cheaper. This stuff was like $10.53, I think, for a pack of it. And I got 2 of them. I might get lucky and get by with just one, but especially since I'm going to be using the blue. But depending on the size of your boat, you know, like I said, this is a 10-foot boat. I'm not going to need as much, so you might have to get 3. I don't know. It just really depends. All right, let's get this foam laid in. All right, I end up just using this stuff. I used all but 2 sheets, and I got a lot of scrap left. I don't know. I figured, I'll probably never use this for much of anything, or what's the chances of me having to use it, so I went ahead and just used all of it instead. And I've got a whole bunch crammed under these benches and under the front part. It worked out pretty good. We pretty much level. It's actually just a hair bit lower than the braces, but that's gonna be fine, I think. Just so you guys know, using this crap is messy. Y'all see all this crap I had to deal with? I've already cleaned my boat. So keep that in mind. Man, that was messy. And like I said, if you don't floor it, you're gonna deal with that little crap floating up on you for a long time. Hopefully I won't deal with it after I put the floor down on this one. So, all right, that's the next step. Go ahead and floor it. We're just gonna put one piece right here, and I'm not gonna floor it here. I think I got enough HydroTurf where I'm just gonna put HydroTurf right on top of it, because no one's gonna be stepping right here. Like I said, HydroTurf on the bottom, but that's gonna be after we get it all framed up. And of course it's gonna be HydroTurf on top. So let's start with the easy part, this one right here. I think I'm gonna just do HydroTurf on this little back piece too, because that's not gonna be really, it's not gonna support a whole lot of weight. But I went ahead and foamed it anyways. I just feel like it'll be a lot cleaner of a look to go ahead and put a piece of HydroTurf here. Just bring it from here to here. And I might do some strips right here. Depends on what all I have left. I think I ordered plenty. All right, let's do this floor. All right, for that little floor section, what we're going to use is this stop sign. I'm going to have to 2-piece it. It's just one brace right there. So I'm going to split it right there on the brace. And I don't have one sign that's big enough to cover the whole span. So I'm going to have to 2-piece it. And I think I said in a different video, these stop signs are wonky because of the way they're shaped. But from the seat to that middle of that brace is like 13.5 inches both ways. And we got like over 14 inches right here. So what I'm going to do is just split it out of the middle of these stop signs. So it'll work out good. And if anybody's wondering, about signs, I got a whole video about getting these signs, but it was in the skiff build. But you get these signs for free. Just go to your local public works, and a lot of times, if somebody knocks a sign down, gets a little bent up, or maybe they change, from a stop sign to a yield, or vice versa, they'll take it down, and it's public works job to deal with it. And they'll accumulate the signs. I'm not sure what they do with it in the long run. I'm assuming they have to recycle them. But go and ask them if they got any signs. And like I said, they were all given to me. My town and my fiance's town hooked me up with a bunch of signs, which is starting to dwindle now. But, if you live in a big town, you have better chances of getting more signs. These are 2 small towns that I've went to. Like I said, it's a cheap way to get metal. Signs, they're about the same thickness of like 100 aluminum, which is what most anybody uses for flooring and decking on boats. Your other option would be wood. Wood's expensive right now. A sheet of exterior grade 1/2-inch plywood is about 80 bucks, I believe. And then you need to spend money on something to coat it. I would coat it with like fiberglass resin, both sides and edges, and then probably paint it with oil-based paint. And then you're going to be adding a lot of weight doing that. So it's not bad. It's a lot more work, and it won't last as long. And I'm not sure. I've seen a lot of people talking about fiberglassing and then HydroTurfing on the top. I'm interested to see how well that works in the long run, but I definitely wouldn't put HydroTurf right on top of plywood, even if it's just painted, because that HydroTurf is it's just like a sponge. So if it gets wet, it's going to try to hold that moisture right on top of that wood, and it's going to rot it out faster. In my opinion, I'm not a scientist. I make Fruit Loops for a living. Anyhow, we're going with aluminum. We're going with aluminum signs because it's the cheapest way to do flooring that I can perceive. I got these signs for free. In my opinion, aluminum is better than wood. I'm not knocking wood. If you got wood laying around, use it. Holler at me in comments if you want any ideas on how I would go about treating wood. My son is on the fence, or he's building a boat right now, and he's wanting to use wood, but he's also wanting to do HydroTurf, so he might do the epoxy or the fiberglass resin on top and then turf on top. So we'll see how it works out. All right, I'm running my mouth. We need to get to work. Let's do it. Alright, just so you know, I'm cutting this stuff with a jigsaw with a metal cutting blade. Now, I've tried a few different things. I've tried a skill saw. I've tried a grinder with a cutting blade on it. And to me, jigsaw works just as good, if not better, than the rest of them. They're a little bit easier to control. Maybe a little bit harder to get a complete straight line, but all this stuff's going to be hidden by HydroTurf anyways. So if you mess up a little bit, it's not the end of the world. Alright, do it. And what I've been doing in the past to secure these floors is drilling an 1/8 inch hole, countersinking it, and then getting some countersink rivets and pop riveting the floors in. Now, that's not totally necessary. Somebody asked me the other day if they thought it would be fine to just use regular rivets, you know, that's not countersunk, you know, with HydroTurf. And maybe, I don't know. I don't want to risk that. So, I mean, somebody else out there do it and tell me how it works out. It might be fine, but I don't want it to show up a little bump. Now, I'm out of those countersink rivets. I actually ordered some because I definitely want to use them for the deck. But for this floor, I've decided I have a whole bunch of these little stainless steel screws. It's got like a little countersink head on them. I don't know if you've ever messed with stainless steel screws before, but they can be a pain in the butt. You have to get your hole just right where it's big enough to where it won't snap off, but also small enough where it'll actually grab. I'm going to try these and just see how it goes. If it turns out bad, I can just go back with some rivets. I ordered some of them rivets that are supposed to come in sometime later this week. But, I mean, we're only looking at, what, maybe 8 of them, so we're going to give it a shot. Like I said, if it don't work, actually I'm going to use these. These are a little bit longer and a little bit skinnier. I know it needs to be just slightly bigger than an 1/8 inch for these to work. I've used them before. Like I said, you got to be real careful with stainless steel screws because if it's too tight, it's going to break on you. So let's try to get these in without tearing anything up. Alright, that wasn't too bad at all. Little project worked out pretty good. The screws did fine, even though I ruined like 3 of them. They just bend so easy. So what I ended up doing was using an 1/8 inch and then countersinking it and then going back with an 1/8 inch and just barely wallering it out. And that seemed to work pretty good. Well, alright. I inadvertently lied to you guys. I am not going to be able to get the deck in this video. Not because of lack of trying. I actually am held up on those countersink rivets. They won't be in until next week. And when I started editing a video, I think about a 14-15 minute video is enough. Because if I added the deck, it's probably going to be a very long video. So it's a good place to stop. So that's it. On this video, we added the foam, which was 1053. We used 2 packs of it, so that is what, 2106. And really that's it. Say, I don't know, just add a $1 for screws. I mean, that's probably being generous. This crap I had laying around. So there you go. So we'll add the total down there for the build so far, and we're doing pretty good minus the motor. I actually ordered a motor for this thing, and the company wrote me back and said that the only motor they had in stock that size was damaged, and they refunded me. So I'm on the hunt for a motor again for this thing, and I also need a trolling motor too. That's going to be the 2 factors on blowing this budget. Like I said, I wanted to keep it around $1,500, and that'd be if you built it. I'm gonna have, hopefully I'll have under that, whatever my budget is, because I'm using a lot of stuff I just got laying around, like those screws. But that's what I want to keep it close to, is $1,500, $1,500 to $2,000. Which I mean, like I said, there's a lot of corners you could cut to get a whole lot below, you know, either one of the marks. Like I said, you don't have to put a motor on a boat. 10-foot boat with a trolling motor on the back. I mean, you can pretty much go over wherever you want to as long as you got a good battery. But anyways, all right. So next week we'll be doing the deck. Hopefully, I'm fingers crossed. I already got the HydroTurf ordered. Maybe we can do the deck and all the HydroTurf in one video. So, like I said, I want to keep this series as short as I can. But you know, a lot of that is waiting on stuff to be delivered. Well, all right, guys. I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.